You awaken slowly. Not from a sound. Not from a voice. But because something deep inside your body gently knows it is time. The sky is still dim. Soft morning light, pale as silver dust, slips quietly through the small tear in the cloth curtain above your head. It lands on the packed earth floor near your bed, illuminating the dry straw scattered from last night's warmth. You don't get up yet. You just lie there, breathing slowly. The smell around you is familiar, faint smoke from last night's fire, the earthy scent of old timber, and the lingering softness of fabric worn smooth by years of use. You slowly push the cover aside. Your feet slide into the coolness of the air. The floor beneath you is cold, a little damp. It clings softly to your soles, like moss holding onto the roots of an old tree. You stand, and the air brushes your skin like early spring wind. Your hand reaches out to touch the clothes hanging on the wooden hook. The linen is rough, but warm. It holds the smell of sun and time. You put it on slowly. The cloth wraps around your body like memory. You walk to the corner where a basin of water waits. A thin crust of ice floats on top. You tap it. It cracks quietly, like glass breaking under snow. The water is sharp and clean as it touches your skin. You let it trail down your cheeks, along your neck. It wakes you gently, like the first light behind closed eyelids. You listen. Nothing stirs except the faint creak of wood beams, the soft shift of old fibers settling. You glance to your left. She is still sleeping, your wife. One arm resting protectively across the child beside her. Their breaths rise and fall in rhythm, like soft waves lapping against the edge of morning. You let them rest. You walk to the door and press your hand lightly against the old wood. It feels cold. Familiar. Then you open it. The world outside greets you in silence. The fog is still clinging to the grass. The horizon has just begun to turn from deep gray to tender blue. The wind hasn't fully woken yet. Only a few whispers of it slide across your cheeks, carrying the scent of damp earth, of smoke, of far-off trees. You walk toward the chicken coop. Your steps press softly into the wet soil, and each one leaves a quiet impression behind. The chickens stir as you arrive, feathers rustling gently. You lift the old cloth covering their door and lean inside. The warmth hits you, alive, animal, safe. You reach in and gather 3 eggs, still warm from the body that held them. You hold them carefully. They hum against your skin with a fragile kind of heat. You tie the corner of your apron and nest them there, close to your chest. Back inside, a soft glow now flickers from the stove. The fire has been lit. You see her crouched beside it, your wife, feeding small sticks of wood into the flame. The fire cracks gently. The scent of ash and new heat fills the room. She glances at you. Her eyes crinkle slightly. She doesn't need to speak. You hand her the eggs. She takes them with hands that know this rhythm by heart. The child stirs. His hair is messy, like a nest just left by birds. He sits up slowly, rubbing his eyes, and smiles at you. You reach out to feel his forehead. It's cool. It's right. He leans into your touch. You sit down to breakfast. The porridge is thin, but warm. Steam rises softly from the wooden bowl. You take a sip. It tastes of barley and smoke, plain and honest. You pass a smaller bowl to your son. From the side of the pot, you scrape out a golden crisp of grain, your small delight. He takes it with a tiny, eager smile. You eat together in quiet. Not because there is nothing to say, but because nothing needs to be said. After the meal, you rise again. You pull on your coat. You gather your tools. Sunlight has just begun to fall onto the doorstep, slanting through the mist like a gift unwrapped slowly. You take a deep breath. The day has begun. And far away, another pair of eyes has just opened. The king sits up in his bed, the silk sheets slipping softly from his shoulders. The morning sun filters through tall windows made of stained glass, coloring the marble floor with soft hues of gold and crimson. He doesn't rise immediately. He allows the light to rest on him. He listens to the quiet. Even here, in a palace wrapped in silence, the morning carries its own voice. A servant enters. Without a word, he bows and offers a silver basin of warm water scented with herbs. The king dips his fingers in, then wipes his face with a soft cloth. His body wakes slowly, each gesture practiced, deliberate, calm. Another servant brings garments. Fine wool. Hand-stitched. The fabric glides across the king's arms like flowing water. Everything is warm. Nothing bites or scratches. He stands and walks to the window. Outside, the palace gardens are still wet with dew. Orange trees sway gently in the breeze. Fountains whisper over stone. The air is filled with the fragrance of roses and cedarwood. He doesn't speak. He simply breathes. A golden goblet is placed on the table beside him. He picks up a single grape, rolls it between his fingers, then places it in his mouth. It bursts with flavor, sweet, cool, clean. Behind him, servants move quietly, arranging breakfast on silver trays. But the king says nothing. He watches the light move across the room. He watches his reflection in the polished surface of the mirror. Then, without a word, he turns away and prepares for the day ahead. Elsewhere, a farmer steps into the mud, ready to till his field. Here, a king adjusts the folds of his robe and steps into council. But for one brief moment, as the sun rises across the land, they are the same. Two souls waking. Two bodies breathing. Two eyes staring into the morning. You wake as the sky begins to pale, just a little. The chill of night hasn't yet lifted from the air. It clings softly to your skin like morning mist across a quiet field. The wooden floor beneath your bed creaks as you rise, as if it, too, is slowly returning to the world. You move to the corner of the room, where a ceramic jug sits beside a basin. The water you fetched last night has grown still and cold. A thin layer of frost has gathered across the top. When you break it with the ladle, it cracks like delicate glass. You pour the water into your old, chipped bowl, one you've used for years. The edge is worn, a small piece missing from one side. It doesn't matter. The curve fits your hand perfectly. You sit at the table. There is not much on it. A rough barley flatbread. Half an onion. A clay cup with water. You take a bite of the bread. It is dry, dense, but familiar. The onion burns slightly as you chew, waking your senses in a way the cold could not. You sip from the cup. The water is cold, slightly earthy, but clean. This is your breakfast. Simple. Quiet. Enough. You reach for your outer robe, hanging by the door. The cloth is coarse, patched in places with mismatched threads. The cuffs are frayed. The color has long faded. But it still holds warmth. It still wraps around your shoulders like something known. You step outside. The ground is damp. Frost still glistens on the tips of grass blades, each one sparkling faintly in the new light. You walk carefully, avoiding puddles where you can. Behind you, from inside the house, you hear the soft clink of the cooking pot. She's up. Boiling the morning porridge. Far away, in another kind of home, someone else is waking too. The palace stands like a stone dream. Walls polished smooth, floors so clean they reflect the light. Servants move through wide corridors in long robes of matching silk. Their steps are soft, barely heard against the thick wool rugs beneath their feet. In the royal kitchens, firewood has been lit. Bronze pots simmer over slow flames. The air is full of scent, cinnamon, clove, lemon peel, and honey. Everything feels warm, controlled, and prepared. On a silver tray, fruit has been arranged like a painting. Fresh figs. Purple grapes. Slices of pear, soft and sweet. A small pile of rosewater-soaked walnuts, gleaming in the morning light. The king sits by the window, his back resting against cushions embroidered with the royal crest. In his hand, he holds a warm cup of lemon and honey wine. He takes a sip. The sweetness moves down his throat like a ribbon of light. He closes his eyes, just for a moment, and lets it settle in his chest. He wears a robe trimmed in gold thread, tied with a belt of softest wool. A single curl of incense smoke winds upward beside him, its scent slow and gentle, like breath held in a prayer. You are now scrubbing a cloth in cold water, one you use to wipe sweat from your brow when the sun gets high. The cold stings your knuckles, but you continue. You hang the cloth on a rope outside, where it drips slowly in the breeze. It flutters like a faded banner on an old hill. You glance down at your fingers. Your nails are cracked. The backs of your hands are red from the chill. You lower your head and reach for the next piece. In another room, someone opens a tall wooden wardrobe lined with silk. Dozens of garments hang inside, arranged by season and occasion. Each one is pressed, folded, scented with oils. A servant lifts one gently. The king selects a deep blue robe. He likes how it brings out his eyes. He slides his arms through the sleeves. The fabric brushes across his skin like warm water. No roughness. No weight. You pull on your coat. It is heavy. Stitched and restitched. Its scent is sun, soil, and sweat. But it is yours. It fits your back. It holds the shape of your days. As you pass the neighbor's house, you notice their blackened iron pot hanging over a fire. Smoke curls from the ashes beneath. They too are boiling porridge, perhaps thinner than yours. But warm, nonetheless. The king, elsewhere, lifts a silver spoon and dips it into his breakfast. The broth is spiced, layered with flavor. He brings it to his lips. A single grain of pearl rice rests at the center of the spoon. It melts on his tongue, carrying the taste of bones, butter, and thyme. He does not speak. He chews slowly. He is not eating. He is experiencing. You finish your meal. You pack a small bundle of food, flat cornbread, a pinch of greens, and salt. You tie it tightly with a string. You're heading farther today, to help dig a trench for a neighbor. The ground there is rocky. It will be hard work. But the pay is fair. You're not hungry now. But you know by noon, your body will remember. That's when this food will feel like a feast. The king walks to the tall window. A single bird cuts across the sky, its feathers catching the light. He watches it glide. In that moment, he wears no crown. There are no guards. Only a man watching another life in motion. You walk past a ditch, overgrown with grass and heavy with dew. Your pants are splashed with mud. You kneel, rub the spots clean, then stand slowly and stretch. The air smells of green leaves, wet soil, and your own sweat. You breathe it in fully. This scent is your life. Your proof that you exist, and work, and endure. One hand eats from the land. The other tastes its reflection in gold. One fills the body. The other feeds an idea. But the sun touches both faces just the same. You stand at the edge of the field, breathing slowly. The sun has just begun to rise above the horizon. Its light brushes gently against your shoulders like a sheer cloth, soft and golden. The air is still damp, like a curtain freshly rinsed and hung to dry. And the scent of the earth, the rich, grounded smell of soil, grass, water, and lingering smoke, unfurls quietly around you. You hold the handle of your hoe. It's smooth from years of use, shaped by your hands, like it was meant to be there. You lift it slowly, feel the arc of its weight in the morning air, then let it fall. The blade bites gently into the soil. A low, soft sound follows, like the earth exhaling from its deepest root. You do it again. And again. Lift. Drop. Lift. Drop. You find a rhythm. Not hurried. Not forced. Just steady. Like breathing with the land. You don't feel like you're working. You feel like you're participating in something older than language. As if you and the ground are engaged in a slow conversation. Each motion a sentence. Each breath a verse in a silent hymn. You are not alone. From across the fields, you hear others. The quiet clink of metal buckets. The rustle of cloth brushing past damp leaves. The soft slap of feet on wet soil. These sounds don't distract you. They form a kind of song. Not composed, but familiar, like water lapping against a wooden dock, again and again, until time disappears. You wipe your forehead. The sweat is just beginning, clinging to your neck like warm dew. A breeze finds you. It carries the scent of cut grass, the cool breath of nearby hills. You pause for a moment, just to feel it. To let the breeze remind you, you are alive, and moving, and surrounded by purpose. You've worked this field for years. You know its stones. You know where the rain collects and where it runs off. You and this land have grown quiet together. You understand each other without a word. You set your tool aside and walk toward the bucket. The surface of the water reflects a small corner of sky. You dip a cloth into it, press it gently against your face. The water is cool and carries the scent of the earth. It's not pristine. Not mountain clear. But it is real. And it is yours. You sit on a flat stone. Resting. The kind of rest that has nothing to prove. You reach into your cloth bag and pull out a piece of last night's bread. It's tough, but you bite into it slowly. Each chew feels like anchoring yourself deeper into the day. A bird cries from a nearby tree. The sound is rough, not song-like. But it lingers, dragging the air, folding into the morning like smoke into clouds. You look at the field before you. The light now spreads across the earth, turning the wet soil into soft gold. Far away, the palace doors open with grace. Servants line the marble halls, cloths folded over their arms, bearing the gold-trimmed emblems of the crown. The royal morning has begun. The king walks from his sleeping chamber. His steps are unhurried. He wears robes tailored precisely to his shape, and his boots make no sound on the thick wool carpets. He raises his eyes, and the sunlight meets him, gilding his hair in faint, pale light. He pauses. Before speaking. Before moving forward. He looks out toward the courtyard fountains, where water dances in quiet arcs. He watches as the mist glides between orange trees. It reminds him, briefly, of birds too sleepy to fly. Then he turns and steps into the chamber of council. The domed ceiling stretches high above him. Blue and gold patterns curve along the walls. The scent of cedarwood hangs in the air, rising gently from hidden incense. Several ministers are already waiting, whispering in low, respectful tones. The king sits upon the high-backed chair. A servant lays out parchment. Another presents a quill carved with delicate swirls. And the king begins his day's work. His hand moves across the page. Letter by letter. Stroke by stroke. Each motion careful, practiced, balanced. He is not writing quickly. But he does not pause. The document is signed, folded, passed to waiting hands, destined for distant cities. This is his labor. He does not sweat. He does not bend or carry. But his hours, too, are measured. His time divided, not by stone and soil, but by ink and ink again. Back in the field, you are clearing a channel, a trench that once held rainwater but has long been overgrown. You kneel beside it, fingers deep in the muck, pulling out roots. You lift a stone lodged in the earth, and it scrapes your palm. A scratch forms on your skin. You ignore it. You toss the stone. It thuds into the grass with a weighty sound. The noise reassures you. You are not writing laws. You are not watched or recorded. But you are present. And that is enough. You bow forward again. Another shovel of dirt. Another motion forward. The sun is now warm on your back. Your shirt clings to your skin. The breeze comes again, cooler this time. It lifts your shirt ever so slightly, patting your spine like an old friend. You smile. No one sees the smile. But it's real. Like the soil under your nails. Like the groove in your palm made by your tool. Like the ache in your lower back that reminds you, you're doing something that matters. In the palace, the king listens to his ministers. They speak of roads, of taxes, of harvest yields in places he has never walked. Their voices remain soft, precise, measured. The king nods. He lifts his pen and adds a note in the margin. He doesn't stop. Because there is more to review. More to seal. More to plan. His work is quiet, too. But it does not settle into his bones the way yours does. You finish the last trench. You pat the earth down with your heel, leveling it flat. Then you sit on the edge of the ditch, watching the water trickle through the path you've made. It moves slowly, curling around stones, soaking into dry places. You whisper something. Not aloud. Not even in words. But the water hears you. And you hear it reply. You stand on a quiet hilltop, facing the soft horizon. The sun has not yet risen, but the sky is no longer dark. It glows faintly, a shifting gray-blue, like ink slowly blooming in still water. You feel the breeze move across your face, gentle as a hand brushing away sleep. It carries the scent of damp grass, of dew clinging to wild leaves. You bring your hands together in front of your chest. You bow your head. And close your eyes. You are not praying for anything in particular. There is no list in your mind. No plea, no bargain, no fear. You are simply standing. Listening. Allowing yourself to be part of something that doesn't need to speak to be known. There is no image in your thoughts. No idol, no altar. Just a quiet presence, soft and steady. Like the glow of firelight in a distant room. Like a child's sleeping breath. Like the hush that follows rain. Your heartbeat slows. You can hear the blades of grass at your feet brushing softly in the wind. Even the earth seems to breathe beneath you. Not loudly. Not urgently. Just, patiently. You open your eyes. To the east, a line of golden light peaks gently above the ridge. Not bursting, just beginning. Like someone, somewhere, has slowly pulled a curtain open and let the morning in. You bow again. Not to a god. Not to a sky. But to the morning itself. To this quiet gift that asks for nothing and gives everything. Then, you turn. And begin your walk down the hill, back toward the fields. Far away, another space has also awakened into stillness. A servant gently pushes open a carved wooden door, stepping into the meditation room of the palace. This room is different from the others. There is no gold, no polished stone, no ornate ceiling. The floor is covered in thick, hand-woven rugs. Soft paintings hang on the walls, their colors faded by time. A quiet incense burns in the corner, white sandalwood and sweet myrrh. The king is already seated. He rests on a simple cushion, his hands placed gently on his knees. His eyes are closed. He is not wearing a crown or formal robes. Only a loose linen garment, soft and unadorned. His feet are bare, pressed gently into the warmth of the floor beneath him. He is breathing. In. And out. Each breath unhurried, with a pause in between, like the resting of a bell after it rings. There are no chants. No rituals. Just silence. And the king, slowly detaching from the title he holds, returning, if only for a little while, to simply being a man. His thoughts are not grand. Not about war. Not about taxes. Not about power. He listens. To the movement in his chest. To the shifting of light behind his eyelids. To the curtain by the window, stirring slightly in the breeze. You, meanwhile, are digging a trench in your field. The light is still soft, gentle enough to stretch your shadow far behind you. Each time your tool cuts the earth, a little soil slides free. You pause. Elbows on knees. Gazing out over the dirt and grass. Your mind isn't busy. It isn't empty either. It just rests. Your body, too, feels settled, rooted. The earth beneath you doesn't ask for explanation. It only asks that you show up. And you do. Your shadow grows shorter as the light increases. You take a drink of water from your bottle. It's cold and faintly metallic. As it travels down your throat, you close your eyes. It feels like peace. The king opens his eyes. The meditation is over. He rises slowly, barefoot on the thick rug. No rustle. No rush. He walks to the window and draws the curtain slightly. Sunlight spills in like warm cloth, falling across his shoulders and hands. It doesn't burn. It rests. He stands in it quietly. A memory comes to him. His mother, long ago, saying, "Real prayer is not what you say. It's what you are, when you stop saying anything at all." He bows his head. No ceremony. No audience. Just a man, greeting the light of morning. You spot two sparrows leaping from a patch of dry straw. They startle up into the air, flapping through sun-dusted fog. Their feathers shake loose bits of dust in hushed motion, rising like gentle smoke. You smile, just a little. Then lower your eyes. And dig again. There are no miracles in this moment. No visions. No revelations. No booming voices from above. Only earth. And water. And your body moving forward. This is your faith. Not found in temples. Not written in scrolls. But in the way you bend your back with care. In the way you carry stillness into every breath. In the way you pause to listen to the land, even when it does not answer. Far away, the king puts on his robe again. The silks are light against his skin. He steps quietly from the meditation room. He will soon greet nobles. He will sign decrees. He will host a banquet. But his feet move more softly now. Because earlier, just after sunrise, he too exchanged a glance with the world. Just as you, at the edge of your field, looked down at the water flowing through the trench you dug. Not knowing exactly where it would go. Only knowing that it was moving. And that was enough. You step out from beneath the tree just as the sun reaches its height. Your shadow walks beside you, not too long, not too short. Just the right length, like a quiet companion. It doesn't rush. It doesn't speak. It simply follows, step by step, as if it knows the rhythm of your breath. The ground beneath your feet is dry and soft, dotted with small stones. Each step you take is gentle, making only the faintest sound. As though you were walking across a sheet of old parchment. The air smells of warm dust and sunlit grass. Far in the distance, a sheep calls out once, lazily. The sound drifts like a cloud through a slow-moving dream. You walk toward the trees. A quiet grove, old and calm. The sunlight spills through the leaves in patches, broken and scattered across the ground like little gold coins tossed by the wind. You reach out, brushing aside a low-hanging branch. Its leaves kiss your fingers. They are cool and soft, like the hand of someone who has loved quietly for many years. You have nowhere to be. You are not hurrying. You are simply walking. In your hand is your old sickle. It no longer shines, but its grip is worn to the shape of your palm. It has cut through many seasons. It does not dazzle, it does not complain. It simply goes with you, quiet and faithful. You reach a shallow slope and crouch to check the water's path. This is the trench you dug yesterday. The water flows down gently from the higher ground, winding around stones, slipping past roots. Slow. But sure. You dip a stick into the current and stir a few leaves aside. They spin in tiny circles, then drift away, unhurried, unbothered. You watch them float. And as you do, your thoughts slow too. Like settling dust in still air. Far away, on the other side of a garden wall, the king is walking. He is alone. No crown. No guards. Just a man, wrapped in a light robe, moving softly through the palace garden. The path is made of pale stone. Juniper and violets grow neatly along the sides. Sunlight falls through the arches above, casting shadows in long, even patterns across the floor. He does not walk with purpose. He walks to unburden. To let go of papers, signatures, and golden seals. To let the noise of court fade like a song ending slowly in a far-off room. His shadow, too, moves beside him. Not regal. Not powerful. Just, there. Like him. You reach the stream. You take off your shoes and dip your feet into the water. It's cool, just enough to stir the nerves in your skin, like tiny bells ringing softly. The water wraps around your toes, playful and still. You close your eyes. And you listen. The stream hums. A constant whisper. Not loud. Not rushing. But endless. It reminds you of a heartbeat. You sit on a smooth rock and stay still. Not thinking. Not planning. Just letting the warmth of the sun spread across your shoulders. As time moves by like the shadow of a slow-moving bird. The king reaches the far end of the garden. There, he finds the old well. Vines curl around its edges. White blossoms lean into the light. He leans over the edge and peers into the water below. Still. Clear. His reflection stares back, not as a monarch, but as a man. No crown. No robes. Just a face. With lines. With silence. He doesn't hold the moment too tightly. He lets it pass. A breeze rises from the depths of the well, cool and slightly sweet, carrying the scent of stone and hidden flowers. He closes his eyes and stands there, as if rooted. Like a tree. You dry your feet, tapping off the droplets with your hand. You slip your shoes back on. A dragonfly lands on your toe. Its wings are almost invisible, except for the way they shimmer against the sunlight, like glass dust floating on water. You don't move. Neither does it. For a few long seconds, you share the same quiet space. Then, softly, it lifts away, rising like a thread of smoke, light and free. You stand again. Brush the dust from your knees. And begin walking toward the next patch of earth. There is no rush. No task to complete. Just this feeling, that the afternoon, in its warmth and stillness, is walking beside you. From the palace, the great bell sounds once. A clean, high tone. It glides into the sky like a silver ribbon. The king hears it. He turns. And walks back down the corridor of stone and light. He looks to the ground and sees his shadow once more, neither behind him nor ahead. Exactly beside him. And in that moment, he feels something settle. Not because anything has changed, but because nothing needs to. The shadow walks. The man walks. One through fields. The other through courtyards. One on bare dirt. One on polished stone. But both moving at the same quiet pace. Not striving. Not rushing. Just walking. And in that, there is peace. Night falls gently, like the thinnest cloth lowered from above. Tugged softly at the corners, stretched smooth across the sky. You're sitting on the stone steps outside your home, arms wrapped loosely around your knees. Your body leans forward just a little, as if listening. The fields before you blur at the edges now, faded into soft, dusky folds like a blanket left out in twilight. Crickets hum quietly in the grass, their rhythm steady, like the slow turning of pages from a very old book. The air is a mix of faint wood smoke and sun-warmed timber. Your breathing is unforced, effortless. Each inhale seems to rise naturally from the ground beneath you, as if the earth itself is breathing with you. No one is speaking. Not you. Not the house behind you. Even the pots inside are still, save for one lid, which shifts gently, tapping once like a memory stirred by accident. Far on the horizon, a distant light flickers. A farmhouse. In another village. It glows like a star that didn't quite make it into the sky. Tired, dim, but present. In the royal tower high above the city, the king sits at his window. He has shed his robes. Only a loose, soft tunic covers his frame. His bare feet rest on the warm stone ledge. Behind him, a candle flickers like a fish gliding slowly through deep waters. No documents. No wine. Just a cushion beneath his elbow and quiet on every wall. He gazes out across the city. The rooftops have turned to bronze beneath the night, dulled and layered like velvet soaked in rain. On the far side of the courtyard wall, a night watchman moves, his silhouette a gentle blur. The king watches him. Not with thought. Not with judgment. Just, watching. You rise slowly. Your knees creak softly in protest. You walk barefoot into the yard. The stones beneath your feet are still warm, holding the last touch of the day. It feels like a quiet reminder, like pressing your palm to someone's face just after they've washed it clean. You tilt your head upward. The stars are beginning. One. Then another. Then three. They appear like names you haven't spoken in a long time. Familiar. Still waiting. You step toward the well. Its crank creaks gently as you draw water up from the earth. The sound like an old friend murmuring a slow, half-forgotten story. You pour the water into a wooden basin. Scoop it into your hands. And press it to your face. The water is cool, not cold. Not a shock. Just a touch that says, you are here. You are awake. You are real. Inside the palace, the king stands. He drapes a light shawl around his shoulders and steps onto the balcony. The breeze meets him with gentleness. It brings with it the faintest trace of night-blooming jasmine. A scent not strong, but deeply known. Like the last line of a lullaby you once knew by heart. He rests his hands on the stone rail. Closes his eyes. And listens. The wind speaks in a language that doesn't need to be understood. It only needs to be felt. A sound not of news or messages, but of presence. Of something else breathing beside him. You glance toward the distant hills. There, nestled among trees, is a tiny temple. Its roof low. Its walls white and fading. You cannot see it clearly. But you know it is there. Just like you know this earth, this water, this sky above you. Even without sight. Even without proof. You return to the steps. The water's touch still lingers on your knees. A cool memory resting in your skin. You exhale softly. Not from exhaustion. But like releasing a long, held note. Like letting the day go. In the palace, the king snuffs out the candle. Darkness returns gently. Not sudden, not empty. It folds around him like a soft curtain pulled by unseen hands. He lies down. No silk sheets tonight. Just the light shawl drawn over his chest. He closes his eyes. No dreams yet. No need. Just a floating stillness between sleeping and waking. You move inside. Your bedding is simple. A mat, a light cover, and the steady comfort of your own breath. You lie on your side, back to the window, hands resting over your heart. Your eyes remain open a little longer. Then close on their own. Like petals of a flower tucking in for the night. Outside, the crickets continue. You no longer follow their rhythm. It continues without you. The world has not gone silent. But you have. In the deep quiet of night. The king and the farmer both lie in their separate homes. In separate worlds. Unaware of each other's names. Yet their breathing begins to match. Not perfectly. Not precisely. But close enough. Like two distant trees swaying in the same invisible wind. No one called for it. No one planned it. But there, in the hush of darkness, two lives move toward the same place. Not in footsteps, but in stillness. And maybe, just maybe, they will meet again. In the quiet center of a dream. You awaken inside a dream. But not with a jolt. Not with confusion. Not even with awareness. You float upward, light as a feather resting on water. The kind of awakening that doesn't separate you from sleep, but gently lifts you to the surface of it. The dream is shallow, like a soft fog. You stand within it. There are no walls, no doorways, only warm, woven ground beneath your feet. Like cloth kissed by the last light of day. You hear the wind, but cannot see it. It brushes past you like the tail of a quiet cat, barely touching your skin. You do not know where you are. And you don't need to. Your body is not tense. It does not resist. It simply allows. You take one step forward. There is no sound. No weight. Not even a footprint behind you. But you know, without doubt, that you're moving. It feels like drifting in water. Like gliding through the space between notes in an unfinished lullaby. Ahead, there is a figure. Not far. Not close. Not someone you know. But not a stranger either. The shape is familiar the way warmth is familiar. Like the feeling of lying on your grandmother's lap as a child. As she hummed softly in the fading light. You move a little closer. The figure does the same. There are no words. No need for them. Because something between you is already understood. There is no history here. No beginning, no ending. Only now. Only presence. You stop walking. So does the figure. And together, you stand side by side. Looking forward. There is no palace. No field. No memory of the day behind you. Only a quiet lake ahead. Veiled in light mist. Its surface is perfectly still. A mirrored sky. In its reflection, you see stars. You see mountain edges. You see the faint outlines of two people. Unlabeled, undefined, simply existing. You remember the day. But without effort. The scratch of the soil. The coldness of the well. The dragonfly's moment of stillness on your toe. And the breath you released at dusk, without meaning to. These memories are not gone. They rest beneath the lake. Motionless, clear, and softly glowing. Like lanterns that never needed to be lit. You close your eyes. Not from sleepiness. Not from surrender. But from wholeness. Far across the city, in another room. The king also sleeps. But he does not dream of kingdoms. Or halls lined with gold. He dreams of walking barefoot through a soft, endless field. And beside him walks someone. Not talking, not asking, just walking. They move slowly. Like two drops of dew sliding across a leaf. Neither rushing. Neither waiting. Just arriving. At the same, shared morning. You smile. Not because you're happy. Not because something good has happened. But because something heavy has finally been set down. Like a cloth pulled from your shoulders. And caught gently by the wind. You feel your body begin to dissolve. Not vanish. Just soften. You are no longer bound by form. You become a little lighter. A little quieter. You become the air. You become the wind. You become part of this night. You are no longer fully awake. But not completely asleep either. You rest between the two. Like the moon held at the edge of dawn. Still. Balanced. Beyond words. You hear water. You hear leaves turning over in their sleep. You hear a lullaby sung by a mother far away. The words too faint to know. But not too faint to feel. You lie still. Your breath slows. Your chest rises like the tide touching a quiet shore. Your dream stretches out. Like a mat woven from stillness. There is no more distance between you and the king. There are no titles. No walls. No edges. Only two quiet lights. Faint, warm. Glowing softly at the far edge of the night. And now, as the final breath of the world slips into silence, you let go. You sleep. Truly. Quietly. Completely.